Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Smart Money Sundays. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready for another great trading week ahead of you. I'm going to be going over about 7 different pairs. I'm going to start off with the dollar index. Just want to make the disclaimer that everything that I go over is not necessarily a trade idea telling you to get in. It is just my analysis. I am not a financial advisor. If you are looking for financial advice, please seek a financial advisor in your local area. So without further ado, I'm going to be going over the dollar index to start. Let's look at the higher time frame and do a little bit of a top-down analysis. So far, ever since our accumulation down here, this was the beginning of, or towards the end of May of last year, we've been on a pretty much a tear to the upside. And we are coming into a higher time frame level of supply. So I would not be surprised if higher time frame we do end up spilling back over to the downside for an overall pullback. However, this is likely to occur, if it is going to occur, over the next few months. I still expect a little bit further upside on the dollar because what we formed last week were equal highs. We also have equal lows. So what I'm expecting for the current week is I'm going to expect price to come into 98.741, which is a 15-minute buy to sell on the dollar index that has taken liquidity. Okay, I really want that price to be hit. However, I would also like price to push back down and take out these equal lows that were formed last week. Okay, so short-term dollar strength for maybe a little bit more longer-term sell-off or weakness to finish the week. All right, and that will tie into all of the XXX USD pairs that I'm going to be going over. Overall, the dollar index is still very bullish. We have to keep that in mind. So going to the higher time frames, I do expect 99.3 to be taken out. Ultimately, I want us to come back up into 100. That is a key psychological level for the dollar index, and I believe that will be achieved here in the next few weeks to the next couple of months. So I'm expecting short-term dollar strength, maybe mitigating this sponsor candle, this buy to sell in here on a lower time frame, coming back down, taking out these equal lows, and then potentially springing back to the upside to take out these equal highs. Regardless, liquidity is taken. Price could easily blow through this level this week, come up and take these equal highs, or price could easily blow through this low here and take these equal lows. No one really knows exactly when price is going to do this, but we know what it's going to do. So it could easily push down this week. It could easily push up this week. I'm expecting price to mitigate this and take the low before then taking the high. But it could either take the high, take the low, or take the low, take the high. No one really knows. What we have to do is just play off of key levels in the market and have an overall higher time frame bias. So regardless of what price is going to be doing, we have areas of liquidity that we're looking to attack. And then we can look at pairs like Euro USD, AUD USD, GBP USD for those finer, smaller time frame setups, which I'm going to be discussing now. So Euro USD, we are looking like we are going to go long this week. We had one drive to the upside, pullback, 2 drives to the upside, hoping to get another pullback for that 3rd drive to the upside, coming into 1.12. I believe 1.12 will be achieved this week, coming up into this area of supply that has not been mitigated because of the fast move that we saw the beginning of March, this imbalance that you can easily see on the higher time frames. Also, we have not filled this gap yet. A couple weeks ago, price created a gap in the market when the Russia-Ukraine incident or conflict started to become more prevalent. Is when we had to see this gap, and it has not filled yet. So this is around 1.126, 1.127. I believe that this will be filled as well, but psychological level 1.12 should be met this week. So what do we expect? Lower time frame. We had a beautiful trade set up last week that we sent to our members. a buy setup from this last sell to buy. Stops were right around here, so it did not hit our stops before going long, which is very, very nice. And we had a nice 1 to 4 risk to reward on this and took this all the way up to, I think, 1.1080. So I am looking for price to have a little bit more of a pullback. So short-term dollar strength coming into this 15-minute imbalance, or 1.0975, the last sell to buy on the lower time frame. If I scale into the 5-minute, we can see that level very clearly. You can see price has taken this ascending liquidity, sell to buy, has made a higher high in the market after sweeping these equal lows, creating the last sort of order region. Okay, we can see consolidation before the push to the upside. Then we have the imbalance that formed. So we're looking for price to pull back into these levels. So somewhere around 1.0990 or 1.09750 is where we're looking to take longs. Okay, so I'll be looking to buy Euro USD around these levels if we get good confirmation. Again, these are not trade ideas. These are not signals for you guys. This is just strictly analysis. So if I scale back out to the 15-minute, short-term dollar strength for maybe the rest of the week dollar weakness to come back up into 1.12. And we can see that within the dollar index. Short-term dollar strength pushing up into this buy to sell, just like Euro USD's sell to buy, right? Continuing with the trend for then maybe the rest of the week shorts on the dollar to take out these equal lows, shorts on the dollar to come up into 1.1200. All right, so this is my bias on Euro USD for the week. If we do break this structure, which I do not expect, then we will be going short, because then we have broken higher time frame structure and we would have been making a lower low. So price could easily take this low, it could take this low. I don't expect that to happen, but it could easily do that, but still maintain structure if we don't close below this level here at 1.0903. All right, if that happens, then we will be considered bearish, as long as we don't have a snap back up in price, meaning this. This is our last point of return. If price does something like this, closure below and then an immediate closure back above, then I would not expect price to continue down. I would see this as a liquidity run for a continuation to the upside. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll have an area of an accumulation that price forms around a higher time frame level, which we can see over to the left. I'll just go to the higher time frames to show you. We can see here an area of accumulation. This is a huge accumulation from 2020 that we have not come into until now. So the higher time frames, we can easily see this. So we're finally coming into the LPOR. LPOR meaning last point of return here. These are areas of demand that are highly sensitive. Just like this last sell to buy right in here. See this right here, sell to buy, have come in, we filled this gap in 2017. So we're going to probably experience high volatility around these levels, because these are levels that institutions look to play off of and sweep liquidity at times. So we're respecting this quite nicely here. We have reacted from that level of demand, formed an accumulation schematic, and now we had one drive to the upside and then two drives to the upside. When you see that second drive and you have that closure above the prior high, we oftentimes will see that third drive into the high. So this is the highest probability push up into 1.12, psychological level, gap fill, supply. This is a very highly probable setup. So the only way that I would see price going short is if we not only close below, but maintain closures below this level. We could easily sell off, close below, snap right back up, close back above. This would still be considered bullish in my opinion because of the liquidity run. Many people would think, oh, closure below, it's retail support, we broke it, oh, we're going short. That's why retail doesn't work. All right, so we had that accumulation. I do expect further upside to this. However, I don't even expect it to come this low. I really want price to maintain support around sort of these levels, come back into the sell to buy that we saw during news, the FOMC news that we had last week, right? So this is a key area I'm going to be looking for buys, okay? Not only did we have relatively equal lows in here that were taken with this last push, you can see that this low here took out this low, swept liquidity, and then we pushed back to the upside. Many people would think, oh, we closed below the prior higher low, we should be going short. Well, we have to look at reactions. Okay, yes, we did close below, but what happened right after that? We closed right back above. So we have to look for this type of stuff when maintaining our bias. So we came back down into demand, then we pushed right back up to the upside, just like this. We didn't even close below this, but we did take liquidity from last week. We had a great buy opportunity, which we took advantage of. So higher high was then formed. This is an area of low resistance liquidity, meaning imbalance. So we should probably be coming back down into this level. I do expect if we do get back down into this level, I'm going to be looking for buys. If we don't, then obviously price would just be continuing up, and 1.12 would be the overall target on this pair. So this is Euro USD. This is my analysis on it. I will now be going over, actually, excuse me, right before I do that, let me show you what we can expect here. Also, it is also important that we can take equal size movements. Equal size movements are very key because when you have a drive to the upside, a pullback, another drive, these extension legs usually are mirrored once the pullback is finished, usually go for about the same distance. So I cloned this leg to the upside here, that second drive, and if I place it where I would like for price to stop, react from, and then go long again, we can see that it clearly comes into, and very nicely comes into 1.12 almost to the T. So these extension legs, these cloning of these extension legs are very important, and they could be, good levels for price to then react off of, or good take profit levels if you do get in from these levels. So also I can pull a fib from the low to the high, and we can see clearly, look at that, how beautiful the negative 27 aligns with that level 1.12. That is why this is how you build confluence around levels, guys. It is not just, oh, I would like to see this level met. Well, why would you like to see this? It's building confluence around it, having multiple confluences to go with your bias, okay? Which is why Aiden does a great job with Smart Money Sundays, because he gives these higher time frame levels, and every single solitary week, just about, these levels have been met. So please, if you guys like these Smart Money Sundays, keep up with them. They are very insightful. I'm not telling you to buy at this level. I'm not telling you to get out of this level or even sell at this level. This is just my analysis for the week. So maybe you can pair it with your own analysis and take trades accordingly to your own strategies if you don't trade smart money. Next, AUD USD. AUD USD, I'm going to be looking for a smaller time frame pullback to then continue up into a higher time frame level, which I'll show you. I will note, going back to Euro USD, this is a larger pullback compared to maybe a smaller pullback we see here. If Euro USD pulls back all that way, do we think AUD USD can do the same? Probably. AUD USD could easily come back down into 732, 7300, or 7275 for a deeper retracement. But I'm looking short term for this. If we get time and price is very important. If during a London session and New York session, we're building liquidity prior to this imbalance or this last sell to buy where we snapped these equal lows, then I will potentially be looking for an intraday long from these levels. So we have a 15-minute imbalance right in here. Also lines up with our zone right there, okay? This last sell to buy. This last sell to buy occurred at 7:45 Eastern, or 7:30, or excuse me, 8:30 Eastern. This is when the stock market opens. This is when prime New York session occurs. And look what happened. Low, 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 low. Retail trader support. Oh, we snapped the support. All the sell stops are initiated. Oh, we're looking for a pullback to go short from a break and retest. Nope, snaps right back up to the upside. Not only, you should just know this, we're in an uptrend. You should just be looking for buys anyways. But this is exactly what the market makers do. They take liquidity and they move in the direction it was always supposed to go, taking retail trader stop losses. Retail does not work. Retail does not work. Retail does not work. I'll say that until I die. All right. So continuing on, I want to see a time and price entry around this level for a continuation all the way up until about probably 750, 0.7500. This is a psych level for this pair. So I want to see this happen between the hours of about 3 a.m. Eastern to 10 a.m. Eastern. So that is London, New York session time and price. Okay, if we do get an overall break, if we break this level, I do think we'll have an overall pullback probably back down into this level here, 7275, which is in balance. Also the last sell to buy within this move. And it's also at discounted pricing. All right, we can see that we had an accumulation around this level. All right, we had our spring. All right, we had our test, and then we had our push. We did come back down to test these levels, so now that's why I expected this to hold if we do come back down into 7275. All right, now let me scale out to the higher time frame and show you what it looks like. Okay, so the reason why I want this price 75 to be met is one, we're in a current uptrend. Okay, higher high, higher low, looking for that higher high now. Okay, deeper pullback. We take our fib from here to here. We can see that again. Look at that. The negative 27 lines up with this zone, which I'll go over in a minute. Also, if we get an overall pullback back down into these levels, 7275, this will be below the 50%. We'd be in discount region of price before then buying. You always want to be buying at discounts, never at premiums, right? Why do we do that? Well, let's say you're buying a pair of shoes. Do you want to be buying a pair of shoes that are worth $200 at $250? No, you want to be buying them around, maybe $175 at a discount because you're getting the best bang for your buck. Never want to be buying something for more than it's worth. All right, so I'm going to go to the daily time frame. The reason why I have this level here is because we have this region of supply indicated with this doji candle here. Oftentimes when price starts to slow down, it creates doji candles, indecision patterns in the market. We have an imbalance. You see, we're starting to slow down. The candles are starting to slow down and become less volatile. We had this indecision and then the bearish momentum. The sellers come into the market. We didn't have that pullback to this level to go short again, creating the imbalance. I do think that we have this one drive pullback, two drive pullback. I really want this third drive to come into 7,500. So that is my overall target, and that's exactly what we're looking for here on Euro USD, looking for price to come up into 1.12. Okay, so now another key concept to look at. 1, 2, 3 pin patterns. 1, 2, 3 pin. We didn't have a pin here, but we had a doji candle followed by an engulfing back to the upside. We swept liquidity here, going back down to the 4-hour. You can say we swept liquidity here. We had that sell, accumulation, buy, right? That's exactly where we had the accumulation on a lower time frame, which I just went over. Also, we're maintaining structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low coming into our last point of return. And look at this. Oftentimes, you'll see a slowdown, last push up, liquidity run, creating the equal lows, okay? Enticing traders to look at this as a break of structure for a pullback to go short, when in all reality, we're still going long. We're just taking liquidity for another push to the upside. It's exactly what we did here, creating the equal lows. All right, push, we broke. Many people are looking at the retracement. Okay, back up into the last buy to sell here, or previous support, right? But guess what? Look at that doji candle. You can see the retail. It's just so funny. You can just see these retail traders getting in. Many people would think, oh, equal lows. Oh, we broke, retest, go short, and look what happened. Push back up. We reacted from it to entice the retail traders. People were selling around these levels, and guess what? Right back to the upside, took their stop losses. All right, we're coming into areas that we already swept liquidity from. Okay, liquidity has been swept right here. These equal lows, right? Sell to buy. We took that liquidity. Guess what we did? We retested that same level. So it's really just, and guess what? It's also around 717 cycle level as well. So it's really funny how this stuff works. It's really simple. It's a very simple concept. It's just about training your eyes to see this, and it's all fractal. Higher time frames are the same as lower time frames. Obviously, the higher time frames take precedent over the lower time frames because higher time frames symbolize where the market's going overall, which is why you have to take every single time frame into account. But they're all the same. The same concepts perform the same way on all the time frames. So overall, I'm expecting price to come into 7,500, taking out this high. But if we can get a lower time frame intraday setup from these levels, 7,390, 7,350, that would be great. If not, I'm going to be looking to buy around these discounted levels of price. All right, next one. GBP USD. GBP USD is, again, it's very similar. I want to see higher prices on GU. All right, we had a beautiful accumulation schematic. Beautiful accumulation schematic right in here. Look at where we tapped the T right into, 1.300. This is exactly where Aiden was talking about Smart Money Sundays last week. He pointed out reaction longs from 1.3 to the T. That's exactly where we reacted from, and now we're pushing back up. So now, zooming back out, daily time frame, the reason why we reacted from that level, just simple structure, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We're starting to come back into these sort of reaccumulations, okay? I know that we have structure here, lower time frame, but higher time frame, we're still very much bullish. Right, we want to be continuing to look for buys, and this can easily continue. We can break structure and go back to the upside because we have a lot of descending liquidity right here that we will take. There's a lot of liquidity. How many people are selling short these pullbacks? A lot of people. That would be great lower time frame. If you have a higher time frame level that you're looking to come into, you can definitely sell short in here. But just know that once we're seeing these trend lines form, trend lines are retail patterns. Once we're seeing these start to come together with one another, we're touching 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We should be looking to take that eventually. This is just areas of liquidity that will be run eventually. It doesn't have to be run now, but it will be run. So we reacted from 1.3, going back down to the 15-minute. And we did break structure here. You can see we closed above this previous high. So structure has been broken, and we have a level of prior support that I would like to come into. This could easily just break and we can go long for a while, but we at least should come back up into this level, imbalance, and retest this prior low. Okay, if it does go short again, I still expect us to come back up into 1.3273, maybe 1.33 psych level for this pair, to then go short again. If it does go short, I don't expect that to. I expect price to, at least come up into here. I don't know if it's going to go short from this level. It could, but we had a nice accumulation reaction from 1.3. We could easily have an overall pullback maybe up into sort of these levels of supply, but at least this level here, which is why I'm looking for short-term dollar weakness, which is what we discussed. So short-term dollar strength and then weakness back up into here. Euro USD, short-term dollar strength, then weakness back up into here. AUD USD, short-term dollar weakness. Oh, my mouse just froze on me. Short-term dollar strength to then weakness back up into here. Dollar index, short-term dollar strength, weakness, take out these equal lows. So we can try to form biases around multiple different pairs if we have confluence with one another, if we have relatively the same setup. So as I mentioned last week, I actually have it within our Discord page here. I actually put it as a part of our free trade ideas, I believe. Maybe not, maybe it was hindsight. Let me actually find it for you. Yes, right here. Right here. I'm looking for, yep, right there. What's fast never lasts. Meaning, what's fast, a very fast volatile movement is often followed by refilling of that same candle. Okay, and I had this level marked up from the 17th, which is 3 days ago. So we had this last sell to buy coming into an area of demand, increasing liquidity, ascending liquidity. We took all that liquidity, and then we should be looking to continue with the trend, coming back and mitigating this last sell to buy that also took liquidity right in here. Okay, and that's exactly what we saw right in there, the reaction, and we had the continuation. So that's exactly what we see here. I am looking for price to either come back down short term, maybe back down to this last sell to buy. We reacted off a tiny accumulation on a lower time frame in here. What I would really like to see, I don't know if we'll see this, but what really plays out a lot is when price, we have a higher time frame area of demand. We have an imbalance right here, indicated with this blue line, 1.3077. Okay. You can see the imbalance right here between this wick and this wick, the last sell before the buy. Okay, if price can come down, take this low and take this low, right? React from that and snap back. I would really like to get a pullback to go long. When liquidity is taken and price comes into a higher time frame level of demand, oftentimes you'll see the reaction and you can get a very high risk to reward setup. So low risk, high reward setups there because it's liquidity. Liquidity has been run coming into an area of demand or supply, in this case demand because we're going long, and then looking for reactions from those levels after liquidity has been taken. and then you give a really high probability chance of the trade playing out for you. But if we don't see that, then I am ultimately looking for longs. I will look for areas to buy around London, New York session within here. And if we do get this break, I will be looking to buy somewhere down in here. Ultimate goal, 1.3273, as discussed earlier. I want to see higher prices on this. The bias is long. You can even see what the moving average is. We are above each EMA here. Okay, so retesting prior support. All right, in area of imbalance, I want to see price push back up into this. Doesn't have to happen this week. It probably will, but if it doesn't, ultimately, before we go short, I really would like to see this met, 1.3273. All right, I have three more that I'm going to go over really, really quickly. USD CAD, again, short-term dollar strength to see dollar weakness. You can see this area of liquidity that was taken. We had buy to sell coming up into supply, and we have not mitigated this. This is imbalance here. So I want to take all this liquidity here, have a push up, look for people to be buying, and then it's just going to mitigate and go short and take the retail trader stop losses. That's how it works. Because whenever you see something like this happen, you know, we have a wedge or a flag or however you want to call it, you have a breakout of that. Many people look, oh, breakout, break, retest, go long. Nope. We have to look at the structure. We have to look at where price is going to be reacting from. Where's the liquidity? Where are the sponsor candles? Where are the institutions going to take price? All right. When we see price push back up into here, which I would like to see a reaction, I'm looking to go short. I'm looking to go short back down into 1.2540 to 1.2500. All right. The reason for that, higher time frame. It's always important to have higher time frame bias. You have this low here. You have this low here. You have this low here. And this low here. So you relatively equal lows there. An area of demand that I really want for price to come into, 1.25 psychological level, somewhere back down into discount before potentially going long. But again, price is sort of stuck in a consolidation range. We're not making higher highs or higher lows here. It's just kind of stuck in a higher time frame range. But ultimately, I want to see 1.25 being hit. We also have relatively equal highs. So at some point, doesn't have to be now or next week or next month, eventually this liquidity will be taken. All right, so that's USD CAD is what I expect. Euro GBP. Euro GBP very quickly. So Euro GBP, I'm looking for shorts on Euro GBP. And it's also good for GBP USD longs because they're inversely correlated. All right, the reason for this, simply put, is we are in a downtrend. All right, we are in a downtrend, clear. All right, you can ask a 4-year-old, where are we going? Is this going down or going up? Yes, it's going down. Let's look for shorts. So I will be looking to short this around, if we can get one more pushback up to the upside around 0.84600 to 0.84670. The reason for this is that we reacted from supply. Okay, we're reacting from supply on each pullback. We have supply here that we reacted from, and then we have, I think, an hourly area of supply right in here. Yep, and we have a little bit of an imbalance between this wick and this wick, and this is where liquidity was taken, last buy to sell. So really want price to have maybe one more pushback up into this level, okay, for a sell-off. And you can see we're starting to slow down in price. We're starting to distribute, okay? We're making ever so slightly higher highs and higher lows. All right, what we can also do is if we're looking to accumulate or distribute, look at the volume. What's going on with volume? So let's look at the VFI. This is really the only indicator I use besides the 50 EMA. We're starting to diverge. All right, volume is starting to diminish. We're now below that zero value, starting to get into the negatives here with volume here. All right, we're starting to slow down. Prices or volume is pushing to the downside. It's lower volume, the volume is starting to diminish here than Euro GBP. All right, sellers are starting to take over, but we can see price is still pushing up. Volume and price is diverging with one another. Usually indicates a reversal. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there's a good confluence and a high probable chance that it will. So that is exactly what we're seeing here. I may want to see one more push back up into this level to take out previous week's high. Actually, this is previous week's high, but to take out Friday's high. This is Friday's high right there. Okay, one more push back up into there that would give us that area of high probability back up into this last point of supply here to continue with overall trend. I'll be looking to short off. Volume divergence is key here, taking it down into 831. Why? Because even though we are in a downtrend, I would like to ultimately take price, lower that back down to 0.80. I think that will be met over the next few weeks or months. But short term, 831. This is a key area. You can just see support, 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 support. Had a little bit of a reaction for resistance. So this is an area where you can see price sensitivity. So I would like to see one more push back up to the upside for then a continuation. Price could easily open and push back down into here. Ultimately, this is the overall objective, all right? But if we do get a pullback prior to this price being met, I would like to be looking for shorts around that level, okay? To be taken down into 831 because that has been an area of price where you see a high amount of sensitivity, and we should just be looking to take a good amount of partials here if we do get into a trade. Okay, so that is Euro GBP. It's going to be cleaning up price here. Just want to delete all this stuff. And then the last one I want to go over with you guys, and this one I just sort of looked at as I was doing analysis today. That looked pretty good. GBP CAD. CAD is extremely bullish right now. We can just even look at that with CAD JPY. CAD JPY is on a tear. CAD Chef's on a tear to the upside. We're looking for USD CAD to go short. CAD strength is really going to be the theme of this week, I really do think. If we can get any sort of retracement on the CAD, continue to buy. That's what I say. So GBP CAD, going to look to buy the Canadian dollar this week again. We're on a tear to the downside here with GBP CAD, meaning CAD strength most likely. So it's also important to note, if GBP USD is looking to go long, GBP CAD is looking to go short, what's strong and what's weak? If we look across the board, the pound is quite strong. We're looking for Euro GBP to go short, pound strength. We're looking for GBP, where is GBP USD? Right here, GBP USD to go long. I want pound strength. However, when GBP CAD is pushing down, is this the pound weakening? No, it's probably the CAD strengthening over the pound, or something like that. So Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, you can just see the bullish momentum here. That's probably what's going to occur. So just really continuing with the trend here, we have a 15-minute area of supply that we came into. We swept liquidity. We took this high here, all right? And then we came up into imbalance. You can see this wick and this wick here. The imbalance fill was right there. Our last buy before the sell-off. It was initiated at 67225 or 67224, which is the imbalance fill. We had descending liquidity in a lower time frame. As you can see, price is starting to slow down. Had one more final buy to sell. That's where we saw the huge monetary policy statement from the pound. I think that was monetary policy. What's fast never lasts. That's exactly why we're looking to fill this candle here, or at least come back up into this last buy to sell to continue to short. So right now we have relatively equal highs, descending liquidity-ish, something like that. But ultimately I will be looking for price, if it comes back up into here, to go short again to make a lower low. Just continuing with the trend, following mitigations, following supply being met, following imbalances that are filled, descending liquidity, the last buy to sell movement here in the market to take liquidity. So this is where the buys were initiated. We should probably mitigate those buys. It's also in balance, about 50% from this start of this down push candle here to the closure. Sorry, I'm probably not using the right terms. I'm just going through this really, really fast. But you get what I mean here. You get the concepts. So we're looking to push back up into this level. It would be great if we see time and price here. So GBP CAD anywhere in London, New York session. These are London, New York session based currencies. So looking to take these highs from last week, run them, fall. Guess what we could also do, guys? This is what I teach in the course as well. And this I'm just going to talk about on a very broad level here. If we see, price doing something like this, we come up into an area where we want to react from, and then we break counter trend structure. This is the counter trend here, right? We break this, we close below it, looking to pull back. Even if you don't get in here, if we see a counter trend break, you can get back in off the retracement to go short again. So something like that. Obviously, there are a lot of other confluences that you could look for confirmations, but this is just a free video for you guys. Only discuss that within our VIP. So anyways, looking to sell around those regions of price. So anyways, guys, thank you for joining in. This is another episode of Smart Money Sundays. Hope you guys learned a lot. Place these key levels on your chart, and these are not trade ideas for you guys to take, but if you want to pair them with your own analysis, and if it plays out for you, obviously, the more, the better for you guys. So thank you guys for listening in. That is my analysis for this week. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message us. We'll be happy to help you. In addition, we are finishing up our St. Patty's Day promo, 30% off. If you guys are interested, I'd be happy to extend it for you for another couple days. So just let us know if you are interested in anything. Have a great rest of your weekend. Let's kill it this week. Happy trading.